After many years of hard work, a question that many students often face is if they can and or should take a gap year. Let's see what someone who is currently finishing up her gap year has to say. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Scene in STEAM. I'm so glad to have with me today Eveé Blake. Eveé, thank you so much for coming. Welcome to The Scene in STEAM.
Thank you so much for having me. Truly, it's a privilege to be here, so I'm really excited.
I had to have you, Eveé. You've been my mentor. You've been my mentor since I essentially started Oakwood.
I know, freshman year.
Yes.
What? How are you a senior,
No,
Jayde?
I don't understand.
How are you about to go on now? Like, oh my goodness, where did time go?
Into the void. It went into the void.
Truly.
Because freshman year, you were my bio tutor. You were essentially my mentor. And then I continued to know you and admire you as a leader. You were the president of the Girls Empowerment the Girls Awareness, Motivation,
Empowerment.
Organization.
Ooh, not me forgetting, but yes, game.
Yeah, game.
Yes.
You're brilliant, and you've already been accepted into med school.
Yes, praise the Lord, praise the Lord.
Congrats.
Thank you so much. No, yeah, it's crazy. Like, as you're reading that off, I'm like, oh, wow, I forgot, all the things that have happened.
Yes.
And, like, there's, 4 years now? I don't know. But no, it's truly been a privilege to watch you just grow up and grow up. But no, really,
actually.
like come into yourself and to see what you're doing here with xxSTEAM and like your stickers and like your business. That's amazing. You're an inspiration. Truly. Like, let's be very clear.
I learned from the best.
Oh
obviously.
my goodness. Oh goodness. Okay. Thank you. I'll take it.
You do so much, and so after your senior year, graduated, you took a well-deserved break. You took a gap year.
I did take a gap year.
And you're currently still in it.
That is what I'm doing now. Yes, correct.
Yeah. So what led you to that decision to take a gap year?
Okay, yeah, great question. So honestly, the decision to take a gap year, it wasn't some I'm just gonna take a gap year and tell everyone oh yeah, I'm taking a gap year, it wasn't like that. It actually was a little bit more difficult, honestly. So I remember freshman year, I did a summer program in California, actually. It was SHPEP. I don't know. Are you familiar with SHPEP? Yeah. So that was great. I had an opportunity to do that. And it was actually there that the idea, ignited, I guess you can say, because I remember talking to the medical students there at the time, and they were 26, 28, and these are first year medical students. And I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't expect them to be so, just a little bit older, because typically the culture and, I just hear of people going straight to medical school. And so, again, I'm talking to them, and they're like, oh yeah, I took a gap year. I did this, 2 years here, literally lived some life, before they went back to school.
Yeah. And
that was honestly very intriguing to me. I'm like, wait a minute, because I guess I was kind of under this, I don't want to say false or anything like that, but I don't know, I was really underneath this idea that I just had to go straight in. And so super grateful for that, because that kind of opened my eyes to the idea of taking a gap year. So, fast forward, again, I didn't come back oh yeah, I'm taking a gap year. They won me over, because again, the culture, even at Oakwood and just being a minority in medicine, you just keep going. You know what I mean?
Right.
What is RAS? No, you keep going. And honestly, I wasn't trying to subscribe to that. I'm we work really hard in undergrad. We're doing so much research, classes, clubs upon clubs. And so over time, I was just you know what? I want a break. Truly, I want a break. And so, again, though, I kind of had to find my voice, though, in choosing and deciding to take a gap year. And it was really COVID that honestly, gave me the confidence to really, stand on that. And you know what? It put a lot of things into perspective. A lot of things change, as we know. And I realized life is not promised. You know what I mean? If you have an opportunity to explore another passion or just rest, then do that. And so I'm very grateful for just having that time to, just make the decision and take a gap year. So that kind of led me to doing that. And so I'm very grateful that I did.
Right.
No regrets.
Yeah. And you're living your best life in your gap year. I see you every week, you're in a different place.
We
I'm
try.
wow, yes, you may live your best life.
Yes. yes. It's been great. It really has been. I must say, definitely at the beginning, I remember feeling kind of like, I guess like anxious about it too, because it was like, wow, like this whole, like all this time, right? Like what will I end up doing? And to be honest, things didn't pan out exactly the way I had planned on things turning out. Like I remember having different like opportunities at the beginning, but because of various reasons, it just didn't pan out. So it's definitely been a learning experience. So you see it as me like living my best life, which I have though. I definitely have been able to take different trips, and I'm very grateful for the time, because I recognize that that's not, you know, like you can't just, it's a privilege to be able to take a break. But yeah.
You're right. And a year is a long time.
It really is. It really is.
But people, you know, find ways to fill it, and you always find something to do.
Definitely.
I do hear some students saying a year would have just been too much for me. Like or, you know, if I had taken that long a break, I wouldn't be able to
come back. Yes.
Then there's students like you who know they're going to come back.
Yes.
They just, you know, need to
unwind.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's okay. Like rest is productive. Rest is okay. You know what I mean? Like we deserve to, even though we're young and like we can handle it or whatever, but we still have a life to live. You know what I mean? And medicine, it'll be there. And as I enter into medicine, you know, this fall, I'm like, okay, like I feel like I really gave my mind the time it needed to just kind of, you know, again, breathe, relax, and then I kind of feel more fuel to go ahead and hit the ground running really hard, and, you know, just do my very best as I start school again. So, yeah.
So you know, it worked really well for you, and it was what you needed.
Yeah.
Some students, you know, there are all different kinds of students. So what type of student would you recommend taking a gap year? What kind of student, what, like the experience that they've, based on the experience that they've had, what kind of
would I recommend?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Honestly, so, right, like we said, a year is a really long time. I would say anyone who has any like other interests that they want to explore outside of medicine, whether that be, you know, music or traveling or research even, you know what I mean? Like anyone who just like, has another interest, like I would definitely recommend them taking that time to just explore that, develop that, whatever that looks like for them. Someone who really just wants to rest and just take a break, I would recommend that student, the tired, overworked student who wants to just like, you know, put the books aside for a little bit. Even some people have to take gap years for like family matters, you know what I mean? So I don't think there's a one size fits all at all, but I definitely encourage it to whomever. I mean, again, a time to just do truly what you want to do, you know what I mean? And so it's like, wow, why would you not want to do that? I mean, of course, everyone's, like we mentioned earlier, some students feel like if they start, or if they take a break rather, then they wouldn't get back on it. And so I can understand that. I have a friend who has those similar sentiments. And I say to them, more power to them, okay? Because I know the type of student I was, and I know the type of person I am, and it's like, nah, I need to rest for a little bit. So, but yeah, I'd say anyone who wants to explore whatever interests, like take that time, even take more than 1 year. Again, back in California, I mean, these people were like 28, 27 years old. So I'm like, oh yeah, I took 5 years off. Just casual. It was so like, wow, like y'all are doing that? Like that's crazy. So yeah.
Right. Yes, I believe the average age now for like medical school, because gap years are kind of becoming the norm now.
Yeah, more common for
like,
sure.
The average age is like 24.
Yeah, 24, 25. I remember seeing something like that too. And I'm like, I'm glad. And I think that's a knowledge that I didn't know either, like initially. And so I'm glad to see, like we said earlier, like, you know, people kind of doing it more.
Right, taking breaks.
It's fine, it's okay.
And everyone definitely has a different path. And,
yeah, definitely. And things come up as well, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Life sometimes.
Life happens, okay? Life happens. And I feel like this year a lot of life happened, and I had to do a lot of adapting, adjusting, but you know, I'm better for it. Grew a lot for sure. It's crazy. It's like, oh wow, a year's such a long time, but honestly, where'd the time go? Because how are we in March, April, graduation? Like it's crazy. I'm like, bruh. It's not enough time. It really isn't, but.
No, literally, I was like, where did my senior year go?
Girl.
What?
Like the fact you're about to walk and get your degree. Oh, I'm so proud. It's such a proud mom moment. Honestly, I'm like, this is my girl. Y'all don't know. They don't know, but we know. We know.
Yeah. So, you know, in taking a gap year, you know, you said you've done a bunch of different things. Never, everything was exactly the way you planned, but you know, you got to have different experiences.
Yes.
And you know, you said people with different interests should also, you know, take time to explore those interests.
Yeah, definitely.
But what else would you recommend to someone to do during their gap year to make the most of it, or yeah, to make the most of the time, not just have a year in the void, but to really find new things.
Yeah, so like earlier, like research, you can even, like you don't even have to take a whole year just to do one thing. I think that's very like characters of my year. Like I kind of found myself dabbling in so many different things. And so I'd say if you want to make the most of it, like you can do more than one. Like maybe the first half can be spent like traveling, and the second half can be spent like, you know, pursuing, like doing a mission trip or even working. Like I don't want to discredit like taking that time to work and get some money and saving. Right. Like that's also very important. But just make sure you're also, you know, not putting too much on you, because work is a whole nother stressor, and like, yeah, we want to rest. But yeah, like doing, again, just multiple things in a year's time, I can definitely say that that would be like really good. You know, definitely get your time's worth and everything. Like, again, I found myself doing a lot of different things, and that's kind of what I was speaking to earlier about how at the beginning I didn't think it would look the way it ended up looking, but no regrets at all. I met a lot of great people, got a lot of just life experience, which I definitely don't want to discredit either, because again, you know, you're fresh out of college, and it's like, oh wow, for some people that means moving out or like being on their own, for, you know, having to pay bills, or, you know what I mean, just kind of really getting a taste of adulting. And I can definitely say I also had that. And so not the funnest part of the experience, right. You know what I mean? Adulting is hashtag ghetto, but it's necessary, you know what I mean? And I think actually, I'm glad I even thought about that, because I feel like a lot of times with medical students, with the earlier ones, or rather the younger ones, sorry, that's the better word, the younger ones who just go straight in, like they kind of don't really have an idea of what life is about, you know what I mean? And like that balance and working and cooking for yourself and bills and whatever it may look like. And so I feel like having some time to get a taste of that before you have to immerse yourself back into studying and, you know what I mean, all these other endeavors, academic endeavors, it's beneficial to, it ends up working out, because it's like, okay, wait, I had a little taste of this, you know what I mean? I can better manage, better balance, you know, like work-life balance for real. And so to that, I'm very grateful for this experience, and for the life experience a little bit that I have gotten so far. So
yeah, I completely agree. You know, with, you know, as you continue to live, I feel like you just gain maturity, you gain knowledge about things that you never even thought about, and having time.
Get a little head start or whatever.
Yeah, because when you're in school, you're not thinking about those things that would necessarily require you to be an adult per se, and like
definitely
they don't teach that.
They
like,
don't. Let me tell you, they do not tell you about investing and all these things you should be doing with your money when you do get money. And so having time to just like learn those things on your own, honestly, and you know, help with parents or whatever, definitely can be very beneficial, and it was. So yeah.
Holy. Wow, Eveé. You're still mentoring me to this day.
Oh,
I don't think you'll ever will not be a mentor to me.
You're hilarious. I'm telling you, I'm trying to keep it with you, Jade. Okay, Miss Entrepreneur, own business. Like, we stand. Can we just take a moment to just affirm the Jayde Frederick? Like, girl, I'm over here taking notes. Look. My paper, like, oh my goodness, no, you're amazing, and you're doing great. You're doing great. So.
Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely.
You know, we love to chat. Love a quick chat.
You guys, Eveé Blake.
Should I look at the camera?
Oh.
We went Jayde Frederick.
Eveé Blake, everyone. Definitely don't be afraid to take a gap year or explore taking a gap year, and really seeing if it's something that will benefit you. Thank you so much for watching.